Everybody. Oh my gosh, I don't know why my voice is like this. It's like, it feels like, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like my throat is like being squeezed almost. I don't know if I'm like coming down with a cold or whatever, but like it just feels like my voice is like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I wanted to record a video because I don't know. I was just in the mood, and I've just been watching a lot of Family Guy because, as you know, Disney Plus and Hulu decided to conjoin, and so I have been binge watching a lot of the adult cartoons that I otherwise would not have access to, and Family Guy is one of those. I think I had like HP. I don't know what Family Guy was on before. I'll be honest. But I like had it in the background for a little bit, but then okay, I'll just give you like the backstory of like how I got to know Family Guy because I don't know. I feel like it's like really interesting to see how people like perceive Family Guy and like like what the general perception is. So basically, I got introduced to Family Guy when I was like super young because we did not have cable and we just had like these public broadcasts and I would just like flip through the channels to see like what was on. And sometimes if I was really lucky, I'd be able to catch something like Family Guy. And other times when I got really unlucky, I had to watch like PBS Kids, like the auction like the auction hour where they're like selling shit online, and I didn't know if it was just a show or if people actually bought something, but I still watch it regardless because I was like, oh fuck, this is fun. But yeah, so I ended up watching a lot of like Two and a Half Men and like Big Bang Theory. And what else did I watch? I think those two were like the main ones. I have not watched Two and a Half Men since then because I feel like it's one of those shows where I'm just like, I got enough of you as a kid and I just don't want to revisit you. But I feel like maybe one day I'll like roll back on it and be like, oh wow, this isn't too bad. But I do have like a Charlie Sheen shirt, and I don't want to like endorse his manner by any means, but like he has this one interview that's like the funniest fucking thing. It's like I don't remember what it was. It was like, oh fuck, he was like tweaking out or something, not tweaking out, but he was just like, I think he was like coked out, and he was like just like being really like silly, or like just like aggressively silly to this lady, and it was just really jarring to see, probably back in the day, but like nowadays I just find it like a little humorous. I think, I don't know, just a little desensitized, but anyways. But yeah, so I got introduced to it by then, but then my cousin, but like a few years later my cousin got like access to like an iPad, and then I would watch it off him. So a lot of things I'm influenced by are like by my cousins because I didn't have access to it. And so we would watch like episodes like, oh my god, they would always show me that one fucking epicac scene where like they're all throwing up because they're like doing a throwing up competition, and my cousins found that to be the funniest fucking thing. They were crying laughing, and like for me I was just like, oh that's funny, but like it's not like humorous. And even now it's like, you know um and they would always like play the bird is the word or whatever the fuck, and then they would always do like the banana jelly time or whatever that Brian does. And what else did they do? I'm like trying to think. Let me turn off my fan. I feel like that's like loud as fuck. Ooh. And then what else did they show me a lot of? I don't remember, but there was just a lot of like episodes that they would like replace, like Quinn watches. This is like the funniest fucking thing. And then it would just be like the Epicac video or something like that. I'm just like, I just wish they would like show me something different. I don't know. Like anyways, but yeah, so that's how I got introduced. And then I don't remember how I was able to like watch it through all the way, but I think like during middle school or like junior high, I was able to watch it through all the way. And if you asked me at the time, I would have said that Family Guy was one of my favorite shows because I think there was something about it that really like caught my humor. Because back then I like hated The Simpsons. For some reason, every time I tried to watch The Simpsons, I just could not get into it because I was so used to like that Family Guy kind of edgy humor. Like when I went to The Simpsons, it just kind of felt more kind of like dated. It felt like a lot more kind of like friendly and like a lot more tame. And I just didn't like that. I was like, if I wanted to watch something tame, I'll just put on like fucking anime. Not anime, but like I'll just watch a kids show because that's meant for kids. Why am I watching The Simpsons and whatever, right? And so if you asked me what my favorite show was, I would have said Family Guy. But now I'm like, now that I'm like rewatching it through as like a 20-year-old, almost 21, I'm just kind of like, good thing I like still don't, I don't know. Like I think about it, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm like growing up as a person and maybe I'm not enjoying the things I used to like because it's been a while since I've seen Family Guy. I like remember some of the stuff and like some of the episodes and stuff like that, and I can like quote some of it, but like it's not like South Park for me, because South Park is like one of those shows that like I consider one of my favorite shows, but it's not like I like love the show, it's because it's one of those shows that I go back to all the time because it's comfort. I know what's going on, and if I like need to do anything, I can just walk away and I'll come back and I already know what's going on. So it's like really familiar, and it's just I've watched it over at least like 10 times through and through. And so it's not like I love every single episode in South Park. There's like some episodes where I'm just like, yeah, I'm skipping that. Like the Passion of the Jew, I always skip that one. I just don't like it. I've watched it through like 3 times probably, and each time I just was like, fuck that, like I'm not watching it over again, like this is fucking bullshit. And there's like some other episodes, but like that is one of the ones I skip over a lot. And there was like another episode that I used to skip, but then I started watching it again, and I was like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. But I can't remember what it was at the top of my head, honestly. This is gonna be like kind of controversial to a lot of South Park fans, but I don't like watching the Imagination Land or like the Imagine Land or whatever the fuck saga, like a 3-part saga where like Kyle has to lick like Cartman's balls or whatever. And people say that's like one of the best like sagas in the series, but like honestly, not my cup of tea. I don't know, just something about it just does not click to me. I don't know, just the overall premise of it, and every time I watch it, I'm just like, I'm not feeling you. Like something about you I just don't like. But the other saga I kind of like is I do like is the Coon and Friends, but that can you know, have its moments, you know, where I'm just like, I don't really want to watch you. And of course the Integrity, whatever, I watched it through like I think once, and I was just like, I think I got enough of you. And I don't think I really liked the Member Berries thingamabobber because it just focused so much on politics, but I mean, it's grown on me. I think it's a season that has like, hey witches, and and that's just like so good. But like any of the episodes that like Heidi gets like treated like shit, I'm just like, I don't want to watch it because she was such a sweet girl, and it's just so sad to see what Cartman did to her. And yeah, it's just really sad to see. And then and then I think another episode, one of the episodes in South Park I skipped, not because I don't like it, it's because I don't want to watch it, because I don't know. It's Asperger's. It's where like Stan finds out he has like Asperger's or like autism or something, or is like he's super depressed and he like becomes like an alcoholic. And I think I watched that at like a time where I was like so dejected, and I was just like, oh fuck, like like I kind of feel that like every single day he wakes up and he's just like, I need a swig of alcohol. Like I don't do that, but like I feel that, you know. It's really relatable, but then it kind of humanizes him a little bit for me. But yeah, my favorite episode I think is probably, I don't know, I kind of like Raisins. Something about Raisins, I always like go back to it. I'm like, I really like this. And any of like the goth kids and the emo kids when they're interacting, I really like that. I like the one where Henrietta gets turned to emo. And then Edgar Allan Poe calls himself like, what does he call himself? Like Raven? I don't know what he calls himself, but it's like the funniest fucking thing. And then like the black guy. Oh my gosh, he said something like really funny in one of the episodes, and every time I like see it, it just catches me off guard because I don't know, there's this one phrase that he says, I can't remember what it was. I think it's when they were in the auditorium, and he just says like something, I don't remember what he says, but it was like the funniest fucking thing. I remember just cackling at that. I don't know what it is, but I think that's like one of my like favorite moments. I have like I think like my favorite seasons is probably like 1, 2, maybe 3. I don't know. I feel like I'm always like kind of reminiscent of like season 1, because I just watch it over and over. It's always like first season that I watch, and then I'll just like watch through like the 5th season. I think the 5th season is like when like the shit hits the fan. I think that's like the season, so that's how I remember. But like that's when I like stop, because I'm just like, I think I'm done with you now, and then I'll pick up with another show. But I just love season 1. Something about just like fucking Cartman. Like he wasn't evil back then. I really like how like childish they were, and I don't remember if that was when Corn comes in, but like that's when I like started liking Corn, because South Park just had it going on. I don't know. But yeah, like the first season is one of my favorites, and then after that, I mean, there's some hit or miss seasons. Obviously, like you can't always have. I forgot I had a little poster of them up there. I'll show you guys the full thing. But yeah, a little full poster of them. I made a couple of. I didn't have Cartman because this is a drawing that Butters made, and he didn't draw Cartman because I think he doesn't like. I don't know. One episode that I'm not a big fan of is Cartman bot. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called. It's like where Cartman like plays. It's like Awesome Bot or Awesemo. And I'm just like, a lot of people talk about how they like the show, like that episode a lot, but I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. Like, I'm not feeling it. But okay, I'm like talking too much about South Park, but maybe I'll circle back. But I just kind of want to talk a little bit more about Family Guy, and then we'll circle back to South Park if I have the time. But basically, anyways, so I've been rewatching Family Guy quite a bit, and it is, I don't know. Every time there was a joke that I used to find funny, like I remember laughing at some of these jokes, and like now I'm just like, I don't know, I feel like they're like trying too hard, and I don't want to say that in like a critical way. It just feels like it. It feels like it. It's not like I'm like accusing them of doing it, but for me, it just feels like they're like trying too hard. And maybe it's like because I'm like older now and like it's a lot more dated or something like that, or maybe like I've grown up and like things that were funny to me back when I was like a child with like not a lot of intelligence, not a lot of awareness of the world or whatever the fuck. And then now that I'm adult and I'm just kind of become a lot more, not pessimistic, but a lot more educated, I suppose, to like the world and whatever. And I don't know, a lot of the jokes about like Quagmire, I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. Quagmire, just being like a rapist and stuff just does not, I don't know. Like it's supposed to be funny, and like back then I think I was like a little bit off put by it because it was just so jarring, but like now it just feels not right. Like that one episode where that cheerleader gets like tied up and then like Quagmire finds her in the bathroom. Like I think, I don't know. Like I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh at that. Like I don't know if I laughed at that back then. But like nowadays, I'm just kind of like, it like makes me feel disgusted when the episode ends. Like I don't feel like laughing. I feel disgusted because that's a fucking child, you know. And there's like other episodes where he's like talking about like raping women and stuff, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like those jokes didn't really age well. Like, I feel like you can make a show that's, like, edgy and offensive and still be kind of, you know, humorous. Like, I don't know. You just have to be really careful with it. But, like, when it comes to shit like Family Guy, it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, it goes on for so long. Like, it has such, like, a long run that, like, there's going to be many episodes that just does not hit, you know? And, like, a lot of the episodes that I've been watching so far has not been hitting. I don't know what it is, but it just does not hit as much as it usually does. And I don't know. It makes me feel sad because I used to really, really love Family Guy. And now that I'm like sobering up to the fact that I don't like it, I'm kind of like, fuck, like, what now? I don't know. Because I just find that the scenes just run for so long, and I just fucking hate the chicken and like Peter fight scenes. I always skip through those, and it's always like 8 fucking minutes long, and I'm just like, I don't give a fucking rat's ass. Like, I do not care. We do not care. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then the later seasons when like Lois becomes like an Uber driver or some shit, and she like hunts down a woman for like a good review. I'm just like, I don't know, but there's some good parts of like the later seasons, I suppose. I really like that little like kid that like foils Stewie, that little like posh kid. I think he was pretty funny, but a lot of people don't like him, which is unfortunate, but I liked him. But I think he got like killed or something. I don't know, but yeah. I'm like trying to think of what else. I think my favorite episode in like Family Guy is probably the one where they finally upgraded to like the widescreen. I think it's called like Until There Were None or some shit like that. I don't remember what it's called, but like it's when they're like going to that that mansion, and James Woods got murdered and stuff like that. I really like that episode. I think a lot of it's really well thought out, and I don't know, something about it just is really good. Like the pacing and everything, it's like really good. I remember watching it as a kid and I was like, wow, this is really good. And I don't even think I realized that like they did that like widescreen thing. So yeah, I thought that it's probably one of my favorite episodes, but I'm like trying to think of what else. I feel like I have a couple more episodes that I like, but I just can't remember. If I'm like struggling this hard, I feel like I probably don't like a lot of them. That's not good. Yeah, I can't think of any. And that like one episode where like it was like, I don't know, like I don't even like the short stories because like they don't even align with like the plot or whatever. But like when they're like, oh, like Peter was a slave and like Lois was like his like master, and they like had babies together and stuff like that. It's like, I don't really care about that. Like what is the point of like making like a storyline like that? I don't know. I'm trying to think. You know what scene I don't like? I don't like that one scene where like Peter is like stabbing that whale with like the what the fuck is it called? It's like the shit that you move big shit with. It's like a forklift, like a forklift, and he's just stabbing the whale, and the scene goes on for like fucking 2 minutes, and for like no fucking reason too. And like I just remember watching as a kid, and I just felt like sick in my stomach. I don't know what it was, but I think I felt so sick. And now that I watch it, I just get annoyed. I'm like, what the fuck? A lot of the scenes in Family Guy goes on for so long. I think I'm like used to like the really kind of quick, like little gags. I can't really think of an example of a show that does like quick gags like that, because I don't think this like nowadays I like The Simpsons. I think I watched through like at least the 15th season, I believe. I don't know, I got to the part where like, I don't know, hipsters start coming in and stuff like that and blah 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 blah, blah. But I do like The Simpsons now, but I don't really I don't like frequent it that often, because it's not really something that I'm like, oh, I'm in the mood for The Simpsons usually, you know, so I just don't watch it. But it's a good show. I think it's probably like higher on the ranking than like Family Guy at this point, because I don't know, there is something really endearing about like the first season Homer, just how much he cares about his family and stuff like that. I think it's really cute. And I really like the episodes when it has like little Santa's little helper in it. I think it's like the cutest episodes, like when he's just walking around with his little like his little paws. It's like the cutest thing. I love it. And oh my gosh, I remember watching this episode as a kid. It was like the episode where Lady Gaga comes in and like she like teaches Lisa how to be herself. I don't remember why I remember that, but yeah. And I remember that one episode where Lisa like dyes her hair brunette, and like I was gagged as a child. I was gagged. I was like, wow, she's like kind of slaying. I don't know. Like I think I wanted to be her. Something about her, I was like, I want to be her. Like that hair is eating. Like I want that. And then I remember that one episode where like I think Lisa and like Bart like find out that Bart can like sniff out truffles or something, and then like someone gets addicted to eating truffles. I don't know what it is. But I remember that as a kid, and I think that's pretty funny. What else? I don't know. I think that's all I can remember at the top of my head, honestly. But yeah. And then I moved on to Bob's Burgers, and I think I watched that around the same time I watched Family Guy, so like middle school, junior high, and I think I really liked it back then, but then I just kind of forgot about it because it wasn't on any like streaming platforms that I had, so I didn't have access to it. But then I started watching it again recently, I think, and it's a really good show. I think it's like one of my at least like top 3, top 4 maybe, I don't know. It's a really good show. Maybe not top 4, maybe like it's somewhere in the top 10s probably. It's a really good show, and like the songs are really memorable. Like I think I watched it like back to back to back. Like I watched it once through, and I was like, wow, this is so good, I want to rewatch it. I watched it again, and then I watched it again. But I don't think I finished it the third time around, and that was like what, a month ago. And so yeah, I think it's a really good show. And it like the later seasons, it did not go the same route as like Family Guy or like South Park. It like got a lot more mature and a lot more emotional, which I really appreciate. Like a lot of the older seasons are just kind of like, you know, they're just dicking around like human meat. Like I think that's funny. But I really do like that one episode where we get like insight into Rudy. We get insight into like Louise. I think that the one where like Tina comes to like see her, like tell her poem and stuff. It, like, I don't know, it's a really good scene. I think it's, yeah. I think there's a lot of good emotional like episodes in that series, in like the later seasons where Bob gets to go like see his mom again. I think it's really cool how they're like finally like kind of exploring his mom and like how that influenced him, because one of my least favorite seasons, I mean episodes, is like where Linda tries to make Bob and like Bob Jr. and like older Bob try to get together and stuff, like Bob's dad. And I just don't feel that, because I'm like, well, if someone says that their parent is toxic, you should just stand by that. I don't know, you should just stand by that. Like that's their parent, and they know what their parent is like, and so there's no point in you trying to force like a relationship when they don't desire to have one, you know. That's probably one of my least favorite episodes, but the rest of the episodes I really like. The ones that are like Gail centered, not really any of my favorites, honestly. I do not like much of the Gail stuff. I think just something about her I just do not like, but like she's not my least favorite character. It's just I don't really like the episodes with her in it. And I can't really think of anything else regarding that show. At least I watched through Futurama, I think twice. Not through, I think I watched up until like season 3 or 4. Like that's the farthest I've gone. I tried to rewatch it like a couple of weeks ago, and I got through like at least to like season 3, but then for some reason I stopped. I don't know why I stopped, but it's a good show. I really like the show. I think it's really good. I was able to catch like some episodes when I was younger, so I was familiar with the show, but like they were just, I didn't have access to it on like any streaming platforms that I had, so I was not able to access it. But I really like that one episode where they find out like the little things they're like, little like poppers they're eating, or like aliens, and like they have to cannibalize like Leela, is that her name? I think that's pretty cool. And I like it when they're on the moon, when they went on the moon and there was like an amusement park. I like that one. And then I think this is like at least like the second episode of the first season, but it's like when Bender and Flynn try to find, is that his name, Flynn, try to find a place to live, and if like it like reveals that like Bender has like this big ass like closet. My favorite character is probably Bender. He's that one scene was like, do a flip. Like it's like in my mind all the fucking time. Something about it is so fucking funny. Like that man wants to die like so badly, and I relate to that so easily. He's like, you know what, like I can just die, I'll just die. And I'm just like, I like that about you, and I like that too. Just something about it is really great. I also really like I can't remember what his name is, even though he's kind of a slimy dude. I kind of like that like captain that's like into Leela. I can't remember what his name is. Like, is it like Zach or Zap or something like that? I don't remember what his name is, but like he's like the blonde guy. Something about him just gives out like himbo energy. Like I don't like him, but I like to see him on screen. I don't like him as a character, but I like seeing him on screen because there's something about him is like super like it's like he's self-aware that he's super arrogant, but something, I don't know, they just treat him really well as a character from what I've been seeing, and I just think it's really funny to watch. But yeah, Futurama is pretty good, but like I heard it gets like a lot better in the later seasons. I just have not had the time to watch it through. I want to, but just have not had the time. I tried to watch through American Dad, but I don't think I even watched through. I think I'd like caught a few episodes, and I was just like, it's a good show, but I don't think I would like binge it. I don't know. I think I would just have to give it another chance. I just have not had the time. I mean, I do have the time. I just want to watch the shows I'm familiar with. But I think that the only episode I remember from Family Dad is like the one where like Roger gets like milked because apparently his like milk is really good or something, so he becomes like this like fat whale, and like he's like locked up to all these like milkers. I remember that for some reason. I don't know why. And that's like the only episode I really remember, I'll be honest, because it was just like so like jarring as a kid to watch. I was like, what the fuck. But yeah. Oh, you know what's a really good show? I kind of like King of the Hill. I was gonna call it Hank Hill. I really like King of the Hill because I was able to watch like a couple episodes when I was younger on like cable or whatever. But I thought it was pretty boring. Like the pacing was, I was so used to like, you know, like the really fast cuts and like super like punchy jokes and stuff like that. And so when I was watching King of the Hill, I was like, this is like really slow. But then like the more I watched it, like I had some of the biggest fucking belly laughs of like the century when I was watching some of the episodes in Hank of the Hill. Oh my gosh, I'm like fucking fighting. Oh my gosh, like I think the times I laughed the hardest was when Boomhauer was talking. Just something about the way he talks, I'm just like, I relate to that because I sometimes would be spitting out gibberish, and I just hope people like understand me. Like it's just the funniest fucking thing. He's like, I'm like I just think it's the funniest fucking thing. I love it so much. And just something about Bobby and like I remember what her name is. Like it's not Peggy Sue. The one that like lives with like their fuck me, dude, I can't remember what her name is, but she's the niece or something, right? She's really sweet. I really like her. Something about her, like when she was doing that one episode where she was like learning how to cut hair, and like Hank let her cut her hair, like let her cut his hair. I thought that was really sweet. I'm trying to remember what else. I don't know. I think I would have to rewatch it again. I didn't watch it through, but like it's a really good series, and I would watch it again just because Boomhauer is a funny fucking dude. Something, and then when like Peggy has her moments, I don't know, like both of them have their moments, but like I think that the show is like so self-aware that like it's funny. Like it's, at first I was like, oh, is this for like conservatives or whatever the fuck, but then the more I watch it, I was like, it's very self-aware, and it's like the funniest fucking thing. I love it. I love it. It's a good show. I'm trying to think of, I think that's like all the shows I can think of on the top of my head. It's like adult animations. Obviously, I watched Rick and Morty. You guys know that, but I have not watched it through. My friend has been like pressuring me to try to get back into it, but I'm just like, girl, like I'm not feeling that show, because I had a phase where I thought like Rick Sanchez was like the hottest person on earth, and that was back when I was like super hormonal at like I don't know like junior high or something, and I found like the hottest motherfucker on earth, and so every time I watch like Rick and Morty or get like like content recommended to me about Rick and Morty, I just think of that time, and I'm just like, I don't think I want to relive that. Like it was a really traumatizing time for me. Because I found that man so deathly attractive, to the point where I like fantasize about him when I would go to bed and stuff. It was wicked. I was like, what the fuck is wrong? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm like admitting this on the screen right now. Like my favorite character, like my favorite Rick version was like Dumb Rick, like the Rick that had that bowl cut. Like when I say I was obsessed, I was obsessed. Like he was so fine. But yeah, but my friend's been trying to get me to watch it again, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling it, but maybe I'll get back into it. I heard that some of the later seasons pretty good. I think I stopped watching around like the time where like the evil Morty like took over the Citadel or some dumb shit like that. I don't remember. But then my friend was telling me about like later lore. She was like, oh yeah, Beth is like in space, like the Beth there is like the fake Beth or some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on there? And then apparently like Jerry's gay or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on in there. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other BoJack Horseman. I don't really like want to clump that show together with like South Park or Family Guy, but I think it's also considered adult animation. So it's like I think it's probably what like my second favorite show. Second maybe, I don't know. Let me think. Yeah, probably like second favorite like adult like animation show. Just cause I don't know, just something about it's really good. I have not watched it in a bit because I watched it at like a really like part of my life, and every time I watch it I just remember those emotions. Like it's like when you listen to a song when you like have like these really like big life-changing moments, and when you listen to it like afterwards you're just like, oh wow, like this ruined the song for me, and so I don't want to listen to it anymore. And so that's what happened to me with the TV show. I was like, this is a really good show, I just don't want to watch it because I just remember rotting in bed. I don't know. But it's a really good show, and I tried watching it back when I was like whenever it came out. Like it was like the year that it came out, and I tried to watch it, but I just couldn't get into it. Like just something about it just did not click for me. And then I read some stuff online about it, and people were like, oh, just get through like the first season and then the rest of it's really good. And I think that if I watched it when I was like younger, I think that it would have definitely like fucked me up. But I think that now that I'm a little bit older, I was able to kind of understand the content a little bit better. I think I cried like super fucking hard at like Free Churro. Just something about it just like it just made me sob. Like just made me sob. I don't know what it was, like just the monologue. And I cannot believe the voice actor that did BoJack is the same dude that like played Gob in Arrested Development. When I searched it up I was flabbergasted, but he said he does such a good job of voicing like the whole thing, like Free Churro. I was like, this is so good, like I'm in love. I'm trying to think what episode I also like. I really like the episode where like Caroline finally, is that her name, Caroline? It's been a while. Princess Caroline. Yeah, Princess Caroline finally gets like her baby Ruthie or whatever. I think that's cute. Yeah. And then I really like the episode where Todd comes out like as asexual. I think the guy that plays what's his name? The guy that plays what's his name in Breaking Bad. Oh boy, I can't remember his fucking name is. But like when I watched BoJack Horseman before I watched Breaking Bad, and so when I was watching Breaking Bad, the only thing, like every time the actor was like, you can't keep getting away with this, I just envisioned Todd in my head, and so it would make me laugh so fucking hard because I would associate that voice with Todd, and so I could not take any of his fucking scenes seriously. Like I wanted to, but it was really fucking difficult because I could just imagine like Todd, and I'm just like, it's so, he has like this like cadence in his voice, it just seems like so like unserious, and so it made it really difficult for me to like feel sad during his scenes, like the ones where he's like screaming and crying and like almost dying. I felt the need to laugh. And that's not because like I was like, oh my god, like he's getting beat up and this and that. No, it's like it's just because of his voice. Like he's like putting his pussy into acting, like visually acting, like he's putting his pussy into it. But, like his voice, it just reminds me of Todd, and Todd is just like a silly little fella to me. And so every time it just does not correlate to me. So anyways, yeah, that's that's that. But my favorite character is probably like Mr. Peanut Butter, just because. What is this? A crossover? Yeah. I just think about him. I really like. I don't know what it is, but I quite like it. What other adult animations are out there? I think that's all I can remember for now. But yeah, I think South Park is definitely like up there for me because I don't know, just something about it, just really nostalgic. I watched it around the same time. I think I watched Family Guy, and yeah, I had access to like I think Hulu or something, and I just binged it. I think like my cousin's friend had like my cousin's friend who has a friend that has like a sugar daddy allowed us to like use his like Hulu or something, and so I just binge watched like all of these adult animation shows. And I just remember watching like South Park all the way through. Like I think I got introduced to it like because I don't think I saw it on TV ever. I got introduced to it with the PewDiePie saga where it was like Cartman bra or some shit like that. I can't remember what it was, but like yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. It's like what like hashtag HoloLive or some shit like that. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, that's how I got into it. And then I would just watch like those like really crappy uploads on YouTube of like South Park season blah 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 and this and that, and then the video would be like upside down, fucking warped and stuff like that. And then yeah. I'm trying to think. And then yeah, I think after that I just like watched it all the way through, and I was obsessed. I was obsessed. It's yeah. But like I don't really like admitting that it's my favorite show. It's not something that I'm like proud of. Like, oh, I love South Park. Like, it making my entire fucking personality. Like, I'll have some things. I think I have like maybe like a lanyard that's like South Park themed, but the rest of it, I'm just like there's just some things I just like, but like I don't want to like form my personality around. You know, I'm trying to think of a thing that I'm like I form my personality around. I think I maybe like what's the thing that I form? I don't know. I feel like I do have something that like, forms my personality, but I just can't. Cause like you know when you meet someone, they kind of have that like thing about them. Like maybe this guy is super into rock music, so that's like his thing. Or, like someone is like super into like I don't know, like doing art and stuff like that. I don't know what my thing is. Like or like I've met someone who's like super into like oh I can't remember what it was. Like Blade in Eco 2K, and that was his thing, and that's how I like associate him, and that was like the only thing he would talk to me about, and I was like, okay, cool. Or like I talked to another guy, and he just talks about like modeling and stuff, and so a lot like I want to like try to think of like what I revolve myself around. I don't know. But yeah, with like South Park, I don't want to make it my personality, and especially with the way it's like currently being treated by like the younger generation. I genuinely feel like a lot of the people in the younger generation probably have not watched South Park all the way through, and that's not like a diss to them, because I mean that show is kind of a lot to like kind of take in as a teenager. I don't know. So I'm not gonna dunk on the people that are into South Park, but like they do make a lot of really questionable artworks and content regarding South Park. But I mean, it's not like, oh, like I'm gonna be in the comments being like, oh, as a South Park fan, I'm so embarrassed. Like I'm so sorry you have to see that and stuff like that. It's like I don't really give the rat's ass. Like I like the show and it's like one of my favorite shows, but it's not like I'm like gonna like fight to the death about it. Like I'm not gonna. You know, like I'm not gonna like keyboard warrior fight people online about South Park. That's not really my prerogative. Like I watch a show and I like it, and I know like some parts of like trivia and stuff like that, but like I'm not gonna go online and be like, oh wow, like you're cringy because you made Cartman look like a femboy and you make Kyle not Jewish or something like that. And it's like I don't really care. Like the show itself like does not take itself seriously, and so the fan base I feel like does not take itself seriously, but it is kind of like interesting. I was gonna say funny, but I think it's more interesting to see how the younger generation is perceiving South Park, because a lot of the stuff like about like Cartman like using pronouns and like being trans and stuff like that, like he was that, like he did become trans. but for the wrong reasons. And so I don't know. It's really funny. They'll be like, oh, Cartman's this misunderstood like soft boy that's like abused by his mom, and he has like autism, and he's like he goes by like they them, and he's like this and that. I'm just like, oh wow. I'm like, I feel like the South Park creators would love that. I feel like they would get like such a big kick out of that. I don't know what it is. I think they would get such a big kick out of that. I don't think they would be embarrassed by it. They'd probably like embrace it and be like, this is so fucking sick. I don't know, just based on like how they are. I think they're very unserious people, and if you were to bring that to them, they'd be like, that's cool. And then just call it a fucking day. I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions, but I think so. I don't really find a point in like making fun of like kids or whatever. Like kids are gonna do whatever the fuck, and so I'm not gonna hop in the bandwagon and be like, fuck them kids. Like, well, fuck them kids. So I'm not gonna like perpetuate that. I believe in fuck them kids, but I'm not gonna perpetuate that because that's not my business. But I think there's one thing that does kind of irritate me, but I can't remember what it is. I think it might be Kaiman, like the shipping of like Kyle and Cartman. I don't feel that. I don't feel that. Like even shipping the kids themselves is kind of strange. Like Tweek and Craig, I mean, they're canon, I guess. And like I do ship some of the boys. Do I? I don't really ship them, but I do appreciate that like friendship. Like I think Kyle and Kenny have like kind of a really like interesting dynamic because their dad were friends back in the day. I think what's his name? I don't remember. Gerald and Kenny's dad were like friends back in the day, and then like, you know, Gerald gets like super whatchamacallit, like super rich lawyer, and then they have that beef. I think their dynamic is really funny. Obviously like Kyle and Stan have a pretty like funny dynamic. That one scene where they're like burning ants or something. I don't know what they're doing. They're burning ants. It's like, scream for me, bitch, scream for me. I just love that. It's like the funniest fucking thing. It's like most child thing ever. Like they're like burning ants and they're just like, scream for me, bitch, scream for me. I don't know, just yeah, but I don't really ship them. I don't think I did back then. Definitely, I did ship like, you know, what's his name, Creek. I shipped Creek, and I think I shipped Style. I think I shipped Bunny. But that was when I was a kid. I don't really do all that shipping. Like I think it's really cool when they like make them like all like kind of friendly and stuff like that. But I don't really feel the need to like read fan fiction about things because it's weird. I don't like look up fan art for them. I don't really engage in the fandom like that. Like every now and then I'll stumble on a really good South Park fan art and I'm like, this is really good. And then you look at their profile and it's like, oh wow, you're a Kaiman shipper. Like it's always the Kaiman shippers that have kind of the best art. I don't know. It's always the people that like make that are into the worst things that makes like the best content about the worst thing, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to think of like another example, but I can't. Like Kaiman, they some good ass artists, like maybe like Dream SMP. Dream SMP has some like really good artists that makes really good stuff. But unfortunately, it's kind of crumbling. I don't know. There's a lot of drama going on about that. I have not kept up with it because it's a lot, and so it doesn't really pertain to me. So I'm not. Maybe I'll like catch up on it and then I'll talk about it. But I mean, it's probably like dead news by now. It's cold noodles. But yeah, I don't think I like when people ship Kaiman, but like it's the internet, man. People do whatever the fuck they want. I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh, like fuck you for doing that. Like you're anti-Semitic, this and that. Like I don't really give a rat's ass. Like he like Kyle licks Cartman's balls, and it's like obvious like Cartman has like some type of like infatuation with Kyle because just the way he treats him. Like it's very obvious that like Cartman has like an infatuation with him, but it's not like romantic. I think he just like has this like need to piss Kyle off, and he like goes to, like endless means in order to do so. Like I think that's where he gets his kick from, just like getting Kyle all riled up and calling him fat and calling him all that. Like he's just like, there's people that just wants a reaction from you, and it's very obvious that when Kyle doesn't give him a reaction, like he like goes a mile to like, you know. And I think that's what I like about their dynamic. They're both really mean, like not really mean, they're like horrible to each other, but like they're like they each have like standing, you know. It's not like Kyle is like punching down or punching up, you know, or like Cartman's not punching down or punching up. They both kind of have like an equal ground and stuff like that. And so yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about. My voice is like kind of going out, so I think I will dip. Let me know if, like, what your rankings are for the shows, or if you have any adult, or if I missed any adult cartoons. You guys can comment that below, and maybe I'll give a commentary on it if I've watched it. But I think I pretty much mentioned all. Oh, I watched the Cleveland Brown show when I was like fairly young. I was like in Chicago and it was on the TV because we had cable in like the hotel, which was amazing. And so we watched the Cleveland show out of all shows. I don't know, but yeah, it was a good show for what it was. I only watched like one episode, but I was like, I mean, it was fine. I think that's all. Yeah, I think that's all. So yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about for that. And so yeah, let me know your rankings. Let me know if I have any differing opinions to you, or if we relate to something. I'd be interested to hear. Even though I don't respond because I'm trying to keep that boundary, but I do read, but like I just don't want to respond because that's a lot. But just know I'm seeing, I'm witnessing, and I'm absorbing, but I'm not. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I gotta say for today. All right, kisses.